Hello and welcome back to Industriegigant, and when we last left off, we tried our hand at the first mission in the easy single player campaign, and to be honest, this game isn't very easy overall and just as hectic as I remember it being, because we cannot build anything when the game is paused and time progresses very speedily indeed, right, doesn't it? Well, I suppose that we try our hand at the second mission indeed and see what we can do today, hopefully learn from our mistakes, including our trucks most importantly, right? Okay, I do believe we have to nurse a company back to health if I'm not misremembering. Something like that, right? So what was the goal again here? Okay, we have a small company. It's probably all the assets you can see in the background. And we have to expand the company up to 4 million overall profit at the end of 1977. Okay, and we're getting 5 members of the board voting for us if we succeed with this mission. Okay, something like that. And indeed, it's the only area on the map right now. Are we even earning any money? Most importantly, no, at the moment we are actually losing money, so we should probably fix this before we even do anything else. So what's the problem back here? So we're using some trains to sell some sporting goods, I see. And also some furniture. Actually, no. Why do we have a furniture? Yeah, industry. At least an outlet if we don't have any matching factory. That's a bit puzzling here. Who was designing this? I'm not sure. So there's one store we don't have an immediate use for, interestingly enough. Okay, I guess we only managed to deliver 6 per month. That's not very good. But we cannot really lose money, can we do? Ideally not. We're using trains to only deliver 6 items per month. I guess that's not fantastic, wouldn't you think? And otherwise, what else are we doing back here? This seems to be a one-way trip here wide. So we're picking up some steel. Then we're transferring the stuff, you get the idea. So there is no slack in the system right now whatsoever. Okay, interesting, but hopefully we won't be losing any money. And I do believe we can actually upgrade these vehicles right from the screen if we want to do so. Alright, there must be steel then, I presume, right? The inaccessible station there. Indeed, right? Okay, so interestingly enough, I think we should upgrade our vehicles here right away, because otherwise they would be pretty pricey. I think it's worth the effort, frankly. Maybe we should switch this out for fitness trainers, actually. Come to think of it. Maybe we should do that exactly. Interesting. Okay, and otherwise we need to utilize our existing facilities a bit better, wouldn't you think? We can finance a furniture industry, but only barely. Are we going to switch this to fitness trainers? Probably, right? I think there's a higher profit margin on this stuff anyway. Okay, I think we do that. Yeah, that's a good idea, at least in my eyes. So otherwise, what's available? Well, we have to make some money before we can plan our next moves here, of course. But it doesn't look like the most profitable operation ever. Furniture industry. Okay, how expensive are we talking about? Of course we cannot, right? Because the game is paused. Yeah. So let's just see how expensive that would be, because I don't remember. Yeah, 136,000, not terrible. I think we may give it a spin. I think we can use some trucks to sell some picture frames, for instance. It's a low budget operation, not too worrisome. And 19 is certainly within truck territory. I'm not quite sure we can use the golden and silver rings just yet. But hopefully this will stabilize and also make us some money here in the meantime. That would be swell. We should probably also double track the line, because there is certainly demand for 2 trains, right? Something like that. I guess we can just go around here, not a problem. I think it's manageable. Yeah, please turn off the trees here, brief. So we can see what we're doing. This all-important terraforming angle, of course. Yeah, I think we should probably have at least 2 trains running here for additional income. That seems like a smart idea. But of course, there isn't too much time to spare. The target is still 4 million. Either we do have more factories underground than we had to work with otherwise. And 4 platforms is the maximum, by the way, in case you're wondering. Okay, this can stay exactly as it is right now, I would think, right? And how many trees do we have in here? Not too many. And there's a new item. Garden sheds. I think these are also pretty profitable. Could be one of our first opportunities, ideally. Yeah, not too much wood around here. So ideally we don't want to cut into the forest by building some rails back here. Alright. I guess it's not too terrible, but the moment we want to sell more fitness trainers ideally, that seems to be the priority right now. Yeah, the camera is lacking in precision. I cannot use the mouse cursors to move anything around. These small towns, they aren't worth servicing really, right now at least, in my opinion. Okay, one additional train station. The right way, if you wouldn't mind, like this here. Okay, that's decent. I think we're actually earning money right now, which is a good start. Then we also lower the prices on these fitness trainers so we can sell more of them. Just for slightly less profit, I think it's okay. Yeah, don't have any shared routes is a very bad idea in this game because the pathfinding is very unreliable indeed, right? But there shouldn't be any shortage of steel, for instance. I think it's more than manageable. Okay, money is very important, of course, so then we have to lower the prices, I guess, right? Wouldn't you think? Okay, apparently our statistics from last year were inaccurate. Okay. Advertisement does apply for the entire store, as we've learned last episode. Okay, we can squeeze out 5%, which is good, I suppose. Instead of the excess eventually. Okay, I think we go for some advertisement, maybe lower the price ever so slightly. Something like that. I think we should be fine. Also get rid of the excess here, essentially. Okay, so skis seem to be saturated already. Do we want to do anything else? You can finance a sporting goods industry, no problem, right? Maybe try out also some garden sheds. I mean, what else can we find in here? Tennis rackets, okay. How many do we want for that matter? Could also be by the train route, I suppose. But I want to utilize the, or at least increase the utilization of our existing factories first, ideally. But I think it's not too terrible. We're earning some money at least, and much better than before. What we could also do is funnel in 6 wood and turn it into 3 skis and, yeah, something else, maybe. It's also an option. Okay, we have to find the proper balance before we can do anything else. But I keep clicking on the wrong, yeah, station there, apparently. This is the wrong outlet. Alright, this seems to be relatively decent and about skis. It's not the winter season granted, but otherwise. Okay, I think it's fine. I think we leave it exactly as it is right now and focus our attention on something else maybe. So who else wants sporting goods? This area seems to be somewhat saturated already. But we do have a furniture store, of course, and some wood nearby. That seems pretty decent. Is there anything else in the area that can also be used here? So Mittendorf, for instance. That could be good. Yeah, wood manufacturing hub over here someplace. And then we distribute the wares by truck, presumably. That couldn't be a terrible idea. Although it seems to be trained and go for both of these towns. They're large enough to support us, of course. Okay, that's a terrible idea, but as a reminder, it's a finite resource, so I guess. But we can certainly sell plenty of furniture here using the steel and the wood around. That seems pretty manageable. Yeah, have a warehouse here and then use this for distribution purposes. That's not terrible. But cannot be too greedy because we can only finance one chain of our industry right now. Not all of it at the same time. That's not going to happen here, unfortunately so. Yeah, okay, well, maybe the of patience would be in order here. We still have a 300, 1,000 to pay off, by the way. Alright, but then we squeeze in something nice and easy here, we brief, like a truck-based angle with the remaining wood. That's not too terrible. We're going to reuse the furniture shop anyhow. It's the cheapest industry anyway, as you can see. Maybe not the most efficient setup, but I think it's manageable. So we're going for what exactly? Trucks, of course, cannot really do this in one way, anyhow, because the garden sheds take 2 wood, of course. So I suppose we just go for some easy peasy picture frames. It's a low margin item, but it's also very cheap to finance. In this case, it does not make any sense to use multiple vehicles for this ride. At least 2 chains, I should say. Yeah, we just drop off the wood, and then Ado is back practice once again. We don't really want to do this if avoidable. Yeah, really is bad practice, why really shouldn't. Ado this way wouldn't have to worry about the stockpile building up or something along these lines. Okay, whatever decision has been made, of course. We need some space for additional stations if it becomes necessary. And then we also get the furniture store in the catchment area. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, well, we want to preserve all these trees, but the problem is it cannot be done, right? That's the thing here, really. Okay, so then we sent in a couple of these trucks then. Shouldn't be too many, maybe 3 would do a trick for us, and then for selling these goods or whatever. There isn't too much wood available from this sawmill anyhow, so I guess. Yeah, 19 is no way we can deliver this by truck, I think. Without having this run 3 over the course of the mission, because 4,000 certainly isn't a whole lot, right? Okay, so is there any other wood source nearby? Within truck range, I should say. This area looks relatively barren. Is there anything else we want to do here right now? Looks relatively decent, all things considered. Just have to keep an eye on the stockpile if there's any, which doesn't seem to be the case, which is nice. And sporting goods, we're selling off the excess finally. Looks like we can squeeze out a couple more bucks here. Yeah, this seems fine. Bicycles don't really sell for anything really, but there's plenty of steel around. So I wouldn't be too concerned about this. We're also not competing with ourselves here, right, if we do this. It's not a terrible idea. So, yeah, sure, why not, I guess. But it requires a different factory, of course, which we can finance, thankfully. Oh, actually, we can build the jewelry already. That seems to be a decent idea. So how many of those do we have on the map? That's these dark browns, I believe. So only 2 from what I can tell. There's never any reason to go with trains for this, by the way. Okay, so we do have a silver back here. And we also have some silver times 2. Okay, we can only make silver rings then, I guess. It's a very low margin item, but it does, well, make sense to use some trucks for this long distance. Depends on what the jewelry gives us back here in terms of demand. Probably not a whole lot. Okay, so we can offload 6 or so. But we don't want to demolish any buildings because it does, of course, cut into our existing, yeah, customer base, essentially. The smaller towns, even though it's only 3, that can make some sense, actually. Even the largest towns only give us like 7 or so, so that reinforces my judgment here, doesn't it? Okay, we shouldn't have this being too far away. It should be relatively close, of course, not too far away, but it's a relatively profitable operation if it's considered. But building a store for only 3 rings, you know, it's 100,000. We can't really spare right now. So it would be nice if we could focus on one thing at a time. But of course, the one additional store also means that this town will grow even faster than it usually would. 4 rings, okay. I don't think we can squeeze it in here. And we could do some terraforming. It will certainly get us started. We're only demolishing 1 tiny house. I think it's not terrible. And we almost broke even, but not quite. So I think we have a pretty solid foundation already. Okay, 7 silver rings. I think it's not terrible. I think we go for that. We can always upscale this later on, of course. And this team will price this industry unsurprisingly. But we can be patient. We have to be patient. So then we put the jewelry industry between these two towns or something like that and call it Raum by trucks here. We have to see about this, of course. Let's get the requisite infrastructure in place already. Just a little bit. Yeah, this looks like a good spot for this stuff here. Back in the middle. Yeah, ideally it should be on the same line here, of course, just to make it all neat and tidy. As tidy as we can make it happen in this game, at least. Yeah, okay. At least the time does stop when we're renaming facilities and whatnot, which is great. Okay, yeah, just silver 1 or silver 2, so we can see it pretty easily there. Once we assign our vehicle orders, because time doesn't stop when we're doing that, of course. Okay, since there are only 2 mines on the map, that shouldn't be a problem. And there we have the first electronic component, and the first item. I know this TV looks from the 1980s and the early 1990s, something along these lines. So it certainly doesn't fit into 1971. No wood grain cabinet on this thing. So copper, steel, and plastic. Of course, these become immediately obsolete once the multimedia center is introduced later on. And no one wants CRT televisions any longer if this happens, of course, as you would think. I mean, the same applies to real life, of course. Every single time I walk down the street, I see an old television tossed aside, something like this for pickup. Bulky waste, that sort of thing. Yeah, we also want to keep some distance between the terminals because of the traffic jam that could occur. Not in this scenario, but we don't want to block the main road, of course. Also something I learned in the other campaign. So this is already a bad idea, right? Technically speaking. I guess it's not too worrisome. At least for a couple of trucks, I think it should be fine. Yeah, but I'm not quite sure about the range or the radius or anything in between because it's not stated anywhere, so I don't know. But further away probably makes a little bit more sense. Yeah, okay, I'm not quite sure how many jewelry stores we're going to have here. Let's just assume we have at least 2 or so. Maybe. Guess we'll find out pretty shortly, but at least it's kind of important to get these things going already here. Of course, we're losing money since we're not utilizing any of these facilities right now, of course. Hardly ideal. Yeah, okay, but I think it should be well within range, no problem. Oh, now we lost some money, right? Okay, it's pricey, but at least the trucks aren't, so we should get the show going already here. At least we're making some progress, which is something. I want to diversify and experiment with different industrial chains, of course. Ah, really now, come on, guys. Alright. I guess we double check this here, rebrief just to be on the safe side. And everything seems to be within range, which is nice. Yeah, we can have 1 silver nugget loaded, 1 silver nugget. Yeah, nice, huh? Yeah, silver, of course, is pretty expensive, as you would think. So expensive, as a matter of fact, that the truck is too expensive right now to buy. I guess then we just go for a little bit of a loan here. Yeah, okay, there we go. You know, it would be great if we could pause the game to do stuff like this, but of course we cannot. Okay, then quickly send some trucks on their way, please. Yeah, 7, I believe, I think they're set, so we can send maybe 4 trucks, and then we have to find a different store someplace. Depends on the production here, I don't quite remember how this will end up being. Production cost is pretty high, as you would think, of course. These gems would sell for a lot more, but of course we can't do this right now. It's not available. And this was 7 rings, I believe, right? Yeah, indeed it was. You can see the stock pair, unfortunately. Short of clicking on here. But it's going down ever so slightly. I don't think we are too greedy or anything in between, right? No, not really. Well, maybe ever so slightly. Unsold inventory doesn't pay for anything, of course. How many units can we get out of any given buy-in? 24, so the same as the sawmill, essentially. As soon as we can finance the next jewelry shop, we should probably do exactly that. Yeah, so as you can see, it's already completely maxed out, essentially. That's what I thought. So we need to diversify, and trucks are ideal for a high margin and low demand items such as rings. If only we had some gems on the map someplace, of course we don't. And back here, everything seems to be fine. That's good to see. Doesn't have to be too far away. 3 is not terrible. Ja, 4 even for that matter. Oh, a very local road. You can offload a couple of them at least. If you had the money, of course, that is. Since there's so much spare capacity, I think we can also focus on one of these larger towns, but ideally, I don't want to destroy too many buildings, right? That's the thing, though. Also, 200,000 demolition cost. No, I don't think so. I'm not sure how many silver rings would have to sell for this to be worthwhile. Yeah, 2 rings per month is already worth the effort anyhow. But of course, we also want to set in some other stores, right, as a reminder. So if we take up the top spot here already without jewelry, that's not too great. I guess it seems to be manageable. Yeah, the game really doesn't care about elevation changes whatsoever. It's just the shortest path possible, I think. Doesn't do terraforming for you incidentally, which is always nice. Okay, this road doesn't seem to be necessary, but I think we will distribute more items here anyhow. Yeah, okay, well, I suppose it's a free truck angle, something like that. Also get us more raw materials, of course. Yeah, constantly broke. I can already see the pattern here, right? I believe at least the 2 additional trucks, I believe, sending in some silver nuggets. Probably something like that. Yeah, maybe one for each mine. That should be good enough for now. But of course, silver is very pricey. We don't want to have this, you know, just in a stockpile. But I think it will hum along pretty nicely eventually, I'm hoping. Yeah, back here we seem to be saturated, I think, right? Yeah, indeed we are. Will be much of the same story over there. I like it. Finally, we have something that actually makes sense when it comes to using trucks, you know. Zero. Yeah, great, thanks. It's very particular about this. But of course, the town does have some growth prospects. Yeah, how many silver rings would we have to sell for one store to pay for itself? I'm not sure. Of course, it doesn't tell you how the mud looks like after you erase some of these buildings. It's also a thing. And of course, we did lose plenty of money last year since we built non-stop essentially. Sometimes they also prevent you from deconstructing some roads as you would think, depending on your performance and the local authority's attitude and whatever. Okay, I think it's a terrible idea. Can certainly sell a couple of rings back here, 2 trucks each or something like that. But it's pretty slow going, that's the problem. We want to, of course, move a little more swiftly here to meet our target, ideally. Okay, I think 2 trucks should be plenty for this angle, and then we need to funnel in more raw materials, of course. Call it a little bit of an experiment. As to how productive this will be over time. Okay, another vehicle at least. 2 even, right? As long as the stockpile isn't too excessive. These smaller towns in the mountains are almost impossible to serve because, as you can see, getting a road in here and also a shop and anything in between will be very difficult, of course. It's a small-scale operation, but I like this, actually. I enjoy this very much. Yeah, I think it should probably find some sort of balance eventually. It's not definitely upscalable because we can only get so many items from these mines, and I think we have reached the... maybe a couple more trucks, but it's all we can get out of here, presumably. I would think. And there's a new item, so we can sell this at the toy store. Uses copper and plastic. And I think the profit margin was kind of substantial on that thing, if I'm not misremembering. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, okay, we are getting more money, but not nearly enough money to, of course, meet our target. We also have to sell off this loan still, but now's not the time, of course. Yeah, everything is coming along quite nicely. We cannot lower the production costs or anything in between. That's unfortunately not possible. Looks like we still have trucks waiting all the time. That's not ideal. Didn't think that would happen, but apparently we need at least 1 additional truck on each route. But I want this to hum along unattended, you know. Need to focus our attention on some other area, ideally. To make more money, most importantly. Maybe try out some of these new products been introduced just about now. That could be decent. Yeah, let's just see about the statistics, because the picture frames will be pretty dreadful here by all accounts, I think. Yeah, so we're making... okay, so 3 months and the store is already paid for itself. I guess it's not too terrible, all things considered. But of course, this will be actually it's not that more profitable because we have lower margins, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, this menu is buggy, as you can tell. Okay, there we go. I have to refresh the menu. I don't think they actually fixed this in the re-release of the game, by the way. From what I've heard, it has all the old bugs, so what is I guess? This is the highest screen resolution. Okay, I think it's fine though. Yeah, so we don't want to stockpile ideally, but I think it should be fine. So what's next on the menu? What do we want to invest in? Is there the furniture store, of course. What's next item? Maybe some garden sheds? I mean, the production costs are only 747 and we have an estimated profit margin of 2,600 almost. That's not terrible at all, is it though? I would say it's actually pretty decent. Okay, how many could we sell here? 12. And over here we have a sawmill. 6,000 roughly speaking. Okay. Is there anything else nearby we could utilize? Maybe this area here, this other town. Okay, good idea, I think. And we have plenty of wood incoming from this direction. I think we may give it some consideration. Yeah, this can be carted in by the train load and then distributed by trains as well. There certainly is a shortage of wood on this map, which is nice. Ado is the only finite resource in the game, of course. Langenwang can also serve as a cargo thing, so to speak. Not too terrible. I guess it's so little, we can just use some trucks for this ideally. But okay, we go for one terminal dropping off the wood and then one terminal for the other trains to move out of here or something like that. Only 4 platforms at the most, of course. Okay, new locomotive. This one has a top speed of 120 kph on level terrain and 80 on hilly terrain. I think it's also a couple more bucks less expensive to operate. I think. But don't quote me on that, I would have to compare. Okay, and then these can be renamed here, I suppose. Yeah, I never reused any rails or tried to use single track sections in this game. It simply ain't working. The Pathfinder is just too broken for this. And untangling this mess without the ability to pause the game is downright impossible. It screws up your entire supply chain. And of course you don't want this to happen in this game primarily. Yeah, ideally not, right? Okay, so it's still 16,000, almost 17,000, and we get 29 of the deal instead of 24, because apparently it's now the 1970s, and we have improved production and whatever. Efficiency, you get the idea. Back here, we should of course use the faster locomotive. And it was so finicky with the camera being moved about and whatever. Yes, we can't remove switches, unfortunately so. Although in this case it probably would make a difference anyway. Just looks nicer. Since we don't have much time for, yeah, eye candy anyway. So it is cheaper to operate and also faster. The purchasing cost is slightly higher, but who cares ultimately, right? Okay, then we sell all of the garden sheds. Once we have the first deliveries of wood incoming. We can bleed this train, no problem, even with the slower locomotives. I think at least. Later on with mech rails and the high demand for many items in the game, we have to cart the stuff in from a long distance. Also use some warehouses, something like that. Okay, so this should be on its way here pretty shortly, so we should probably also find a different outlet here pronto as well. That looks like a good idea. Yeah, right here or something like that, without cutting into our existing customer base too badly. Yeah, something like that seems to be appropriate right now. We can of course always reclaim area from the sea, can we not? I guess why not in this case. It's not too pricey, but we have to have the furniture store in the catchment area. That's pretty important, wouldn't you think? Because if it doesn't, as a reminder, the items just disappear into the ether. There's no notification. They offload the items, but they go nowhere. Why? I have no idea, but that's happened, of course. Okay, quickly get this going here, please, before we start losing too much money. Since we're still building these garden sheds, but we aren't selling them. And the demand was what exactly? Maybe 2 trains for this Engo? 13? Yes, I think we shall do that, right? But I'm not quite sure how many garden sheds we can deliver per month. Maybe 1 train will be enough for this. I guess we'll see once we have the stockpile worked through. Fair, like this for instance. And over here seems to be another good idea for that. Wouldn't you think? Yeah, right here, something like that. Not a terrible idea. Maybe we can fix this with some terraforming. Yeah, there we go. I think it's good enough. Certainly we've learned from our previous mission. Also from the first season, of course. Obviously room for expansion, right? Just in case, we reuse it later on, which is probably pretty likely. I do like my efficiencies. Yeah, okay. Well, we didn't break even, of course, since we are spending non-stop essentially, unsurprisingly. I still have to gauge how quickly a month actually yeah, expires in this game. I don't quite remember right now. Maybe 2 trains for this already? I'm not sure. Yeah, laying down some rails takes tons of time, doesn't it, right? That's the problem already. As is the stockpile developing back here. Okay, start selling some items, please. The demand was what exactly? Okay, 14. I don't think we can deliver more than this anyway, I would think. Okay, 12. So the 2 train loads per month, that's what I thought. That leaves us with some excess capacity to offload with some trucks, maybe by chance. Something like that. Yeah, much of the same story back here, I think. This won't be nearly enough to, of course, meet our target requirements, but we still have a couple of years to work with, which is nice. Is there anything else we can use back here? Just a couple of units, you know, not a terrible idea. Six, for instance, a couple of trucks here, not a problem. I think that's acceptable. Also a little bit easier to finance, of course. And then we should start thinking about utilizing our existing furniture stores a little bit better. Something like that. Yeah, maybe like 3 trucks for this year. 6 units per month. I think they can drive over there twice per month indeed. Okay, don't forget about saving the game, because I don't believe there is a hotkey for this, by the way, or any hotkeys for that matter. So, except for pause, potentially. Otherwise, I think I would remember this from my childhood, but I don't. So there probably aren't any hotkeys otherwise. Okay, so this is fine. What else can we utilize? Steel, of course. Wood and steel back here. And a couple of furniture stores in the vicinity. That could be decent. But okay, over here everything's fine. Apparently there's a shortage of silver still. Because I can see our trucks waiting. Okay, maybe one additional truck per route here. I think that should be fine. If only we can clone vehicle orders easily, which of course we cannot. Always annoying. It really is very annoying indeed. Okay, that's, I think, a decent enough plan. We make us some furniture. I think it's one steel and 1 wood, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah, 1 steel and 2 wood, actually. Okay. How upscale can this operation be? I see 1, 2, 3, 4 furniture stores in the area. Could not be terrible. Over here, we're running a little bit short on wood already, as you can tell. So maybe alternatively, we funnel in more wood from this area. I think it's a smart idea, potentially. And it could be. So, almost 15,000. We don't want these trains grinding to a standstill, of course. Yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't tell us last month, you know, so I'm not quite sure how many units we did manage to move there. Okay, I think it's a better idea. Need to funnel in more wood here, as it would appear. For this angle, we just use one faster locomotive just to get things moving along. Yeah, looks pretty nice. I do like the sprites. You can also rotate the camera angle, by the way, and every single isometric perspective direction, something like that. Okay, last year's turnover was almost 6 million. Without our expenses, I think we should be getting there already. Yeah, I think the target was 4 million, wasn't it? Yeah, 4 million, and they want to have a profit on turnover, or company property, which of course is not a factor and won't be on to Industriegigant 2. Okay, then we can make something happen with the steel, maybe. Alu doesn't go in the furniture store, of course. Or we just move on and do something else. I think it's also fine. Try out some of these electronic components, for instance. Sure, why not? We can finance this, I'm thinking. It's also a high margin item. And as you can see, it's getting pretty busy. Even though it's not a network, it's just a selection of different single routes, essentially, overlapping with each other. Yeah, something like that. Okay, electronic components. I think they are not a factor right now. This won't be happening until the 1980s, I believe. Yeah, at the moment we can only build some TVs. 1 steel, 1 plastic, and 1 copper. Well, I didn't have much good luck here with these things, to be honest. What I do remember, at least. But they are here, of course. Also good practice. But the electronics industry is very expensive to set up. and also very susceptible to supply disruption, as we've also seen in real life, of course, in recent years. And continue to do so, of course. And one global crisis after another, right, as the saying goes, unsurprisingly. Of course, it's also an item that should be selling at larger cities, for instance. And I see plenty of wood on the map, but not a whole lot of plastic and a steel mill, so may not be the smartest idea ever. But let's just see what we can do here. Only the largest towns are worth servicing. And like 16 televisions here, for instance. That's not terrible. But it seems to be focused on wood and steel primarily on this map. Only one plastic plant on the entirety of the map, what I can see. Yeah, only one over here. Is there even any point of trying that? Yeah, well, 6 televisions, that's not really worth setting up an entire factory for. I don't think that's worth our time, frankly, so we focus on some easy items like some toys. Maybe. But we have plenty of stores in the area, of course. And I do like the challenge of trying to squeeze it into the same area and then some. It always gives me great satisfaction when it happens. I wouldn't mind trying the approach to manufacture furniture in the central area and then distribute it across the entire map. That is very inefficient in this game without fast vehicles at your disposal, but it could be interesting. I wouldn't be brushing this aside so easily. Or we just go for some, yeah, for instance here we can go for some cheap toys, for instance, it's right next door essentially. I think it's a smart idea. Let's make sure it isn't too close to the town, of course. Yeah, they also wanted plastic for this shit, didn't they? So this doesn't work, but we can certainly build some metal cars, for instance. Not a problem. Everyone loves their toys, I think, don't they? Yeah, I do love my nostalgia. This game is certainly very nostalgic for me. Even though by all consideration, it has not aged very well. If we're honest with ourselves, right? It's hardly a perfect game. Especially compared to Industriegigant 2, which was a massive leap forward in terms of overall usability. But it's still a fun game to experience. But not for the long term. I'm not going to play through every single campaign. That would be way too much, of course. But the overstay is welcome, as you would think. Yeah, we have 40 units of steel in here. There should be no shortage whatsoever. So we can scale it up, no problem. Although it wouldn't be super profitable, as we've already learned in the other campaign, of course. At least in the previous mission. It's a bit absurd when you think about it as to how many vehicles we need for the shortest of routes. It's getting very spammy, of course. Then again, it's just a consequence of time progressing very speedily as a Transport Tycoon and also OpenTDD without using the day length factor. I think it should be plenty already. We cannot deliver much more here anyhow. Okay, but we can certainly scale this up, no problem. And it was 40 plus units wide of steel. Yeah, now it's 45 instead of 40. And toy stores, they also have high demand across the board, except for some high-end items later on, like Game Boys. You know, stuff like this we already saw. We can just build another one across town, essentially. As long as it's far enough away, we're not competing with ourselves. Yeah, there we go. So another 9 units we have here without competing. That's interesting. And we can even improve it ever so slightly, maybe. No, not quite. Right, that's what I thought, but it's a no-brainer here. The town will, of course, also grow, even without our encouragement. Just have to make sure there aren't any traffic jams, right? And of course, oh, I think they will deliver this 50-50, but I'm not quite so certain about this. I think it's 50-50. I think it's the algorithm the game uses back here. But in this case, you just use more trucks, I guess, from the existing platform. That's not a problem. Unintentional, but does work, of course, at least sometimes. Just have to be mindful of these ever annoying traffic jams. Okay, one additional truck, and of course, we need more steer now. And okay, turnover was 7 point something million with all the expenses. I think we're getting there already. But I'm not resting on my laurels, of course. The game hasn't crashed on me like even once, even the other seasons, so I'm not quite sure. I don't think there's any problem with it. Seems to be pretty stable, very polished, but it is again version 1.35, I think. And this was the release on retail CD-ROM. I didn't patch it anyway. So it must have undergone some pretty rigorous quality assurance testing, which is nice. Not given for games of this era, of course, but then again, there was only limited ability to patch. Yeah, this came after delivery to the customer. In 1997, there was no guarantee the customer did have access to internet, of course. And dial-up was very slow. He didn't want to download like 20 megabyte patches and whatnot. That would have taken hours, you know, something like that. Okay, so Krieglach, which is an interesting name for a town, but I think all of them are taken from real-life locations. If I'm not misremembering. I would like to send in some toy locomotives, for instance. Is there anything nearby with spare capacity? Maybe this sawmill. That could work. Yeah, I think it's fine. I mean, we do have some pretty decent demand here combined, right? Yeah, 15 and so on and so forth. You get the idea. That's certainly worth using. I'm not sure the other store is in range. No, far from it. And certainly we can build another truck terminal here someplace, no problem. In this regard, the game is pretty generous with that. And there we go, we have a plastic dinghies, but once again the problem is there's only one plastic, yeah, or chemical plant on the entirety of the map, of course. But that's the thing. I don't think they would like that, but then again, I don't care, right? At least I'm providing some jobs along the way. It's a low margin item anyhow, but production costs are very limited anyhow, which is also good. Yeah, this is like the shortest route. Yeah, keep them separate, it's a good idea, otherwise it's getting pretty convoluted here, just to see where your truck should be going. Yeah, there's a problem because we don't have a connection here. Why? Because the jewelry store is in the way, just noticed. A good thing I did notice. Yeah, please go to the other station if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, I do love when the map gets more busy here with our road vehicles. Although they're super, yeah, inefficient essentially for most purposes, really. Okay, and then we find out in more wood here, of course. Otherwise, I think it should be good enough for now. You can make some necessary adjustments later on if it is required, which it probably will be. If worst comes to worst, we can always adjust the prices, of course, to deal with demand and whatnot. Okay, interesting. So let's just take a look at our statistics here once again. So this year, it's May, and we have a turnover of 3.1. But the profit just isn't here, even with all of our expenses. The base off still. That's like miles off once again. Yeah, so we have to be proactive here and start building once again. Why don't we? Of course, toy locomotives don't even pay for a whole lot here anyhow. Yeah, the game doesn't take this into consideration, of course. It's a 50-50 split, even though the shop cannot support this right now. It's not easily. Okay, we don't want a massive stockpile developing, of course. A good thing I checked. Otherwise, it seems to be fine. I cannot even afford to have a clear year, you know, to look at our statistics without building too much here. It isn't happening, I think. I hope it will fix itself over time. Otherwise, I think we seem to be relatively decent when it comes to production and demand, relatively speaking. Yeah, for the most part, I think at least. Okay, over here, of course, we do have some problems. Apparently, it was a bit too ambitious. The problem. Yeah, we don't want to sell this for a large discount, of course. And there's a new truck. I think this one is just cheaper to operate across the board. It's a turbo diesel with an intercooler, very fancy. These did come out in the 1970s, of course, but they didn't look like that because it's a design from the early 1980s, something like that. Yeah, it just isn't here, right? It just isn't here. Not even close. So we have to go for some other markets now. It's only furniture, really, or toy industry for us. The most profitable thing ever, but it is doable. Hopefully. Yeah, even the easy campaign isn't easy whatsoever. It's non-stop building. Maybe we just funnel all this wood into a central warehouse and go from there. That's not a terrible thing, but it's also pretty pricey. Doesn't make us money immediately. That's also a thing. Maybe we go for something a bit simpler, like furniture production in this area. Maybe that's worth considering. And don't mind televisions right now. Would be a massive expense. Also potentially pretty profitable. Assuming, of course, we don't mess it up, which is always a possibility. Can even support 2 furniture stores in this town. I think we can do this no problem whatsoever. But we don't want to demolish these high rises, of course. Yeah, that's not a problem. Okay, so then we try that. Just make sure this time around they don't overlap, of course. Can we get this from across town here? Not quite, right? Yeah, not for an extensive terraforming. I think it's still out of range. If we don't want this to happen, of course. Yeah, that's what I thought, right? Oh, really now. But since time progresses so fast in this game, we don't want to drive across town ideally. That's also something to consider. So what is it here? It's a small building. Okay, goodbye to you right now. I'm sorry, pal. Speedy deliveries are more important. So, different delivery destinations, so this will be just, whatever, doesn't matter, I will keep them separate anyhow. So we focus on the little section in the middle here somewhere, so where should the factory be? Right here, ideally, right? Yeah, terraforming takes too much time, we don't have time to waste. It's only 3 years remaining, you know. Although even 2 years only, because we cannot put anything in the final year, because it just does cut into our profit margin. That's something to consider. Yeah, okay, this one is only furniture. So we need, of course, a couple of stations here. Pronto, sooner than later, ideally. For selling and for shipping in these materials, right? Yeah, we only need one tile, of course. Time is of the essence here, and we need all the time, essentially. Okay, so how many was it again here? I think one train each should be good enough for this, right? Ado, yeah, I think we can make this happen. Also, there are plenty of garden sheds in here once we get this rolling. In this case, we'll probably prepare this area with one additional platform. This will be on the safe side. Before the town takes, yeah, over here, for instance. Yeah, the clock is ticking down. All of this takes at least 1 year to set up, I believe. Something like that. Okay, this is a truck angle, I think. Because it's right over here, essentially. Also means you don't have to use one additional platform for the shit here. Our trains. Okay, this is connected. We now need plenty of wood, of course. So this is connected now. So let's just start funneling in some wood. So what do we have back here? 12,000 something. Okay. Okay, so these can be on their way, I think. So, trucks first here. Yeah, these are just cheaper to operate. And they're also a bit faster on inclines. In this case, doesn't make any difference anyhow. But I take the $1 discount there. And there was a year already gone with nothing to show for it, really. Okay, so it needs to change, of course. I think a 4 truck should be good enough to bleed this completely in under the 3 already. And back here we can send some steel in, of course. That should give us a sort of equal ratio, at least to get this thing started here, I'm hoping. Yeah, okay, we're starting to make some furniture thing for them. Okay, otherwise, we need more wood, of course. Need more steel, we need all of the stuff here and also start selling more items. Yeah, okay, well, okay, I have to make some decisions here, of course, before we get completely broke. Every single minute we waste here, of course, we cannot get back in this game. Okay, budget option is for us then, I guess. Okay, quickly, throw something together. It's a very hectic game sometimes, the video is right. Okay, I guess 4 trucks should do the trick for us here once again. I hope at least. And then we worry about maybe making us some garden sheds, if there's something left over, or something in the vicinity we can use. Alright, there we go, excellent. Okay, so our train should be on the merry I'm hoping. Okay, what's the difference here? So last year was not very good. We're earning plenty of money, but we're not having good profit to show for right now. I think we are severe risk of missing our target yet again, if we were to believe this. Our trains are waiting too often. We cannot have that, of course. So anything else in the area? Anything we can utilize? No, we would have to call it in from quite a distance, so it's only so much wood we can get here, of course. Yeah, we can never satisfy this without carting the wood in from the other direction. That's too bad. And of course our trains are too slow to make it feasible. In which case we hope we can deliver 2 train loads per month, so we go for additional 25%. I think this may already be saturated because of the production cap here, courtesy of the sawmills. I would think, right? Okay, we have way too much steel here. So we just scrap 1 truck, essentially. We're not getting any money back, by the way, because you're wondering. We could certainly cart in garden sheds long distance because of the overwhelming demand here in this town. That's certainly not yeah, something we should brush aside very easily. I guess we could do that still this year, presumably. It is very far away in this game, all things considered, but we're simply not earning enough money. We're not getting 4 million here with only wooden products because they're low margin. Okay, then we go for a quick local approach here and hope for the best. Yeah, so furniture is very low margin, is safe, sort of, but it's very low margin, that's the problem. And of course, wood in of itself is a limited resource, also in terms of production. It's also a thing, right? Yeah, no time for finesse or anything, we have to be moving now. Yeah, we need to hustle really, that's very important right now. So if there's some space around here, just plop it down anywhere. No time to do some terraforming, takes way too much. Yeah, it really is the case right in this game. It's a very hectic one. But we have to make sure it's actually in the catchment area. Yeah, it's already June. That's not great. Yeah, this game is really hectic, right? It's really, really hectic. Of course, there's no valid path. Oh, come on now, work with me here. You should at least offer to auto terraform this shit for us, you know, for this precise reason, I might add. Or alternatively, it would be nice if we could pause the game, you know, just saying that. Let's just see about the garden sheds. What was the statistics here? 17. There's no way we can do this anyway, right? So we can immediately increase the prices. Look for the best. Yeah, 1 additional truck. Maybe don't get quite so greedy, so 12 maybe. Okay, 1 additional truck please, and see how it goes. Anything else we can use here nearby? Another sawmill, that's good to see. So it's July of the second to last year where we can actually build something. And as you can see, we're getting maybe 2 million per month at most. Or year, I should say, of course. That's not going to be good enough here, I can already tell. And I don't even have time to double check my work or anything in between. I think this may work out here. We have to hope for the best, of course. Okay, also don't forget about saving the game here once in a while, which is, of course, almost instantaneous, because this game does run on SSD, despite being essentially designed in 1994, you know, when it comes to the API and everything. That's something interesting when you think about it. Yeah, the libraries for WinG are really dated 1994. NVIDIA. Okay. It doesn't tell us the stockpile, of course. That's the problem. No stockpile back here. No stockpile back here. Factory has way too much steel still. Yeah, this seems to be fine, I'm hoping. But we don't have time to marvel at our scenery. That's something we need for the next year. Or the last year for that matter. But there's no stockpile back here. So it's not super inefficient by all accounts. I think that's something. Okay, anything else here on the menu? Because there's only 1 year and a couple of months remaining. Looks like we need to use most of the map here anyhow, right? Okay, this is a medium-sized town in this game. I do see a steel mill here someplace. 2 steel mills even. Now, what can we do with that, realistically speaking, other than some toys and some sporting goods maybe? I don't think tennis rackets would do anything for us, frankly. But I think we can sell aluminium as well as steel products in the sporting goods store. Okay, let's just go for it. There's no time to overthink this too much right now. We only have 1 here remaining. It has to be good enough. Of course, there isn't even any flat terrain around here. Not really. Ah, it's always nice. I don't think we're focusing on bicycles or anything in between. That seems a little bit unnecessary at this point in time. But maybe some tennis rackets, you know, for the aluminium. That could not be terrible. Okay, you have good demand. It's not overwhelming, but it could be useful here regardless. So this needs to be a train angle, presumably. This can be a truck angle or something like that. Trains are super expensive to operate in this game, you know, something to keep in mind, which is why I'm so hesitant to actually use them, despite their proven efficiency. Come on now, work with me, please, thank you, game. So anything else nearby we can utilize? This city seems to be pretty decent as well if we can pump out a sufficient number of products. But for now we need to get this going before we even do anything else. We'll worry about the final points later on. Yeah, I really wish I had more time to put some effort into, yeah, eye candy for instance, but it simply isn't happening. There's no time for this. We only have 1 year left to build. We cannot build anything in the final year except to order some trucks, you know. That's the problem. But it has to be good enough here by all accounts. Yeah, there we go. So as you can see, we're getting there, but it's not good enough. We have to build a non-stop this year here, just to meet our target requirements. And really is that dire. If we don't use the additional platforms, there is no money lost there because there's no property maintenance in this game, of course. These things need to be on their merry way already. Regardless of all other considerations. Oh man, come on now. Time is ticking down. This game is super hectic, man. Okay, it also serves the small shop here wide with a couple of trucks. I think it's a terrible idea. And there we go, put it in here someplace, in the other terminal within the catchment area. And apparently we can build it very close because it's a different type of transportation, which is nice of the game. I like that. Build is got him route already, come on. I want to set up at least one additional factory someplace, you know, before we move on. Okay, so then we also set him a little bit more steel here, whatever we can do. There's a couple of trucks here for each area, I think it's fine. What do you mean there's no connection to this shit here? Because it doesn't connect these automatically, I guess. Obviously delay when it happens. Yeah, 2 trucks each should be fine for this, I'm thinking. Yeah, we already have 20 in storage. Oh goody, I think in this case we just upgrade the vehicles, even though it doesn't make any sense really for this route. We have, well, still some time, but a whole lot of time here, frankly. Yeah, it's getting here, but I don't think it will be quite enough. This one isn't worth servicing right now. But I'm getting desperate here. We have to make something happen. There's excess capacity, so we need to utilize it immediately. No exceptions. And work with me here, game. Thank you very much. Like a mixed train, you know, with some tennis rackets and some fitness trainers, something like that. I think it should be plenty. There's no time, of course. I have to keep moving now. Hopefully there's still enough time to set up one additional factory here someplace, no matter how easy and simple. Yeah, mixed train. That should work, I'm hoping. So let's get going, please. Maybe also use a second train for this. Double track the line or whatever. We don't want an additional platform on each side. Yeah, 22 fitness trainers and 6 tennis rackets. I guess it needs to be good enough for now. I don't have time to finesse this here at the moment. As long as our trains are humming along, I think it's satisfactory. Then one quick look over here to each direction. So what are we looking at? No items in storage, that's good. It's going down, so we need at least one additional truck here, I think, for steel deliveries. Just to keep this on equal level, otherwise there's some problems here at the final year, which of course is not ideal. I'm not too concerned about the limit of a stockpile, but it shouldn't be absolutely massive, you know. So, a little bit more steel here if you wouldn't mind, so it lasts us for the rest of the mission, ideally. Yeah, we still have a shortage of wood here, why don't we? Yeah, I think we do because our trains are waiting way too long here. Okay, hopefully we can fix this at least, our inefficiencies. Sort of. I'm not trying to be inefficient here, but I don't have the choice, you know. Okay, it's June. Once more, it's June. Come on, let me access the terminal, please. I don't care about the truck orders right now. One additional wood truck here, if you wouldn't mind. Yeah, there we go. Fantastic. Okay, so anything else? What's the situation here with the money? I think we may be getting here, but I'm not quite sure until I have a clear year, which of course you cannot do right now. This seems juicy enough, wouldn't you think? Probably something like that. Yeah, this can be easy peasy. We have no choice here. Make it as simple as possible or something like that. Although with picture frames you could probably sell these by the train load, wouldn't you think? But we don't know until we check demand, of course. Yeah, 35 picture frames. 50 almost, okay. Yeah, well, 55. Okay, why not? I'm sure that could work in our favor. So we just double track the line and then send them in by the train load indeed. Apparently people want their pictures framed very badly. Well, who can blame them, of course. I'm not quite sure if there's still some demand once the digital picture frames are introduced. I don't quite remember, frankly. It's a bit too close, maybe, but okay. The game is pretty generous. Very generous indeed. I think I like that. Just 2,000 away. That's kind of nice. I didn't expect that. I guess truck terminals are a bit more finicky in this regard. A bit more picky. But I think it's the last factory we can set in motion here. Probably. This is a nonsensical setup, but it doesn't work, I'm hoping. Guess we'll find out pretty shortly. Come on. Work with me here, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, even the fastest train, because you can sell so many of those fucking picture frames. I mean, it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. But who am I to complain? If it does get the job done, so be it, I guess. I sure hope it will work to our desires here, right? Yeah, what was the demand again? 56. I think we may actually be delivering this over the course of the month here of our trains. You see about this, but this thing's already dry, right? Yeah, that's what I thought. So there we go. We can find out in my wood, I'm sure, though, right? Hopefully. The production being so low, you know, in comparison to steel mills, it sometimes just doesn't cross my mind. Okay, there we go. Okay, well, we should do this here brief, right? Hopefully. Okay, double track the line or whatever. And then we send in as much wood to the north as we can. Yeah, just build a couple of additional platforms, not a problem. Hoping. But quickly do this here. It's also October already. Oh man, this goddamn terraforming. Come on, get this going already, please. Come on. I cannot build any industries in the final year because it will be too pricey. And that's, of course, immediately detract from our profit margin. And they're very picky about this. The best thing we can do is try to sell some excess inventory and send in a couple more trucks to fine-tune things along the way. But it's literally the only thing we can do. Yeah, this game certainly isn't easy, as we had many back in the day. Even on supposedly easy difficulty. Yeah, just to help things along in case we have some excess inventory or whatever, because we're finding in yet more wood here. Yeah, but it's already November, isn't it? Okay, we can only watch and hopefully don't watch in horror here as the last year is rolling past. Just in case we have some excess here, you know, because it's an unequal amount of wood being delivered. Just to make sure. Don't have any excess inventory ideally. Yeah, I think 4 trucks may be good for this, I'm not sure. Our trains aren't returning that quickly, of course. So that's the situation. I think we may actually be able to pull this off after all. Oh, that's a delight here. But it certainly is a hectic journey getting to this point, wouldn't you think? Yeah, how many picture frames can you realistically want here, frankly? Okay, maybe we increase the price just a tiny bit. Maybe, like 5%. Shouldn't get too greedy here, of course. Yeah, this is humming along, I think, right? Okay, that's not good. I think we just go for some advertising, presumably. Yeah, that should do a trick, I'm hoping. Yeah, that's the problem with not having any time to do some fine-tuning. But there we have it, and now we can just relax here a little bit and also repay... no, actually don't, right? Because it just decreased from our profit, I believe. Okay, now it's too late. Hopefully we can still meet the target parameters. Otherwise, I think it looks pretty nice what we have achieved in this mission. Despite the rush and all, as is customary. We still have... Okay, it's too late to fix now, I think. Or maybe it isn't. It's stuff you don't have to pay for, you know? Yeah, looks pretty nice, right? Especially with these sprites here in winter. And all our trucks are buzzing about. I do enjoy the sight of that. Yeah. Road and rail transportation in perfect unison. In perfect harmony. At least in this game. I'm not quite sure what the profitable item was, or the most profitable. Maybe the statistics could tell us. I think this is overall, right? Yeah, 12 years. Despite our heavy investment into furniture and everything in between, as you can see, the jewelry is actually what pays the most. Yeah, it really does, right? And we're only using some trucks for this. I guess sporting goods just make up an overall volume. That must have been the last couple of factories we threw down in a hurry. Something like that. And we already have 127 vehicles right now, but doesn't look the part, certainly. Interesting. We do have company value, which is close to 10 million. Though it never is a factor in this game, I believe. In case you're wondering about the background here, this is the 10 Pfennig piece, I believe, of the Deutsche Mark. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, only 5 members right now over the course of our single-player campaign. And apparently we can't even look at the statistics without the game running in the background. And there we have it, a very 1990s looking hi-fi unit. Yeah, this is certainly from the early to mid-1990s. I do remember those. Because I had one of these. Not the exact same model, but I had it. In every single, well, kids room essentially. There was at least one. He didn't really build a hi-fi stack, you know, in the 1990s any longer. That was the 1980s and 1970s thing, but mostly 1980s. I think I also had a 6 CD changer built in. Oh, those were the days. Okay. Okay, that could be a problem. I think it's too late for that, but then again, that's the problem. Why? Because the game doesn't notify you of anything. Yeah, what are we carting out here? So why was the truck unable to load anything? Because there's a massive stockpile of almost 300 units. Yeah, what was the problem back here? Because it have an invalid destination, I guess, something like that. Okay, that would explain it, of course. But trucks, they're also into my profit margin, but if they deliver a couple of these units, I think they can still pay for themselves. I think at least. Assuming, of course, we don't have a massive traffic jam occurring here someplace. Yeah, I think it's equal deliveries, 50-50, if both of them are in the catchment area, but you can adjust this, of course. Hence, a good reason to keep this completely separate, as with most the transportation options in this game, there should be no exceptions really. Okay, I think there shouldn't be any worries now. I think we were proactive enough of this. Thankfully. But I like what we have achieved here. It's pretty nice. Despite the time pressure, we even kept the old infrastructure, just not the original locomotives. If you have some computer opponents or later missions, I mean longer missions, instead of only a couple of years, things can get really crowded on the map. As there would be an open TDD as well, right, on Transport Tycoon. But of course, open TDD has more advanced AI features you can download from the banana store. And all of them are still current, of course, but many of them still do work. And some of them can use all vehicles, even the new GIF stuff you download from the banana store as well. It's always funny when it happens, seeing some steam trains buzzing about, and also some steam trams, and trolley trucks and trolley buses. Depends on how proactive the developer was to update the AI. Since these features didn't exist a couple of years ago, of course, never mind in the original Transport Tycoon Deluxe. We didn't have any new road types back then, of course, so hence no trolley buses, the trucks for us. Trolley buses stayed back quite some time, but they usually acted as a replacement for trams, incidentally. But now we can have all of it at the same time. Starting with non-electrified tram tracks all the way to trolley buses and whatever. Pretty fancy. Of course, this game is much more basic by comparison. Don't even have to worry about transporting any passengers, of course. Yeah, I think it should be managed to no problem. That's nice to see. Although I was a bit concerned there on occasion, for good reason. Without the build frenzy, I think we would have missed our target parameters yet again. Yeah, probably. I'm sure it is going down, but let's just get rid of one steel truck maybe. $50. Okay, we shouldn't get too greedy here then, I see. I don't think this will be super profitable, but then again, we are delivering tons of those. Despite that, it's only 63,000 bucks per month here in terms of profit. So picture frames, unsurprisingly, they barely pay for themselves. I think it doesn't work out overall because of the quantity more than anything else. But not the most profitable endeavor, of course, as you would think. Probably a weak link in our industrial chain. But we have achieved what they asked us to do, I'm hoping. Right? Yeah, I sure we can make this happen. And of course, the biggest expenditure, once again, is production and the purchase of raw materials, followed by transportation costs. The faintest demolition costs, as well as advertisement. And of course, the loan interest, which I cannot repay right now, because it would put us under the threshold again, I think. I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, most likely. So once again, it's a pretty tight squeeze. Despite our build frenzy, it comes down to the last couple of months of the year, of the final year even. So they do give you enough time, but only barely, even in the easy campaign. So no wonder I kept missing some of these parameters back in my other campaign, right? The first season, where I played the medium campaign. Sometimes there simply wasn't enough time indeed to get this done, or barely, if at all. And there was no margin for error whatsoever. And the game, as you can see, is very quirky in most aspects. So I did make some errors along the way, because I was forced to build non-stop essentially. Hence me also pointing out the problems of the catchment area, right? And items disappearing into the ether. Also pathfinding issues because we learned these lessons the hard way. I can assure you. And there we have it. Only 100,000. And then hopefully the members of the world will be satisfied with our performance. Yeah, only 2 months to spare essentially. That should tell you a thing or two. And there we have it. That's nice. Well then, goodie. I suppose I will take a look at the next mission before we call it quits for this recording session. Okay, so first things first, pause the game and then we read over the items yet again. Apparently we have no money in our coffers, really. Okay, so we are to focus on plastic products. Okay, at the end of 1985, they want to see a profit of 4 million per year again. But we have no money, we have no assets, and we have no loans, I believe, right? No, not a single loan. And I do believe, since the focus is on plastic, there will be little else on the map. Yeah, so it's mostly chemical plants and a couple of sawmills along the way. But these don't really synergize. I don't think there's a single product that relies on wood as well as plastic at the same time. But I guess we could maybe go for some toy industry, for instance, or anything in between. That could be manageable. But I guess we have to leave these decisions for next recording session, because this one was a long one yet again. Unsurprisingly, given the overall structure of the game, of course. But regardless, I thank you for watching as usual, and I hope to see you next time.